idea why this is going to be different than just a local weekend tournament, so that you're not surprised or unaware of what you're walking into. I asked Bob Angeli to present this a few years ago, and it went really well. So he's going to present it again tonight. Bob's been umpiring for 34 years. He's in the National Indicator Fraternity, which a lot of you can set that as a goal. It only takes 3 nationals and 7 years of umpiring to be in the National Indicator Fraternity. You could get a trophy, you get a certificate, you get a pin, and you also get your name in a little kiosk in Oklahoma City Hall of Fame. But he's also gone on to win the Region 2 Award of Excellence for the work he's done in Region 2. He also reached the elite status, which involves some higher level tournaments to reach that. He's been to 4 national schools and the Advanced Fast Pitch Camp. And the main reason why he's presenting this, he's been to 12 national tournaments, including 2 18 golds. Now, doing an 18 gold could be a little bit different than doing another tournament, but you know, a lot of things are similar, and that's what we want to prepare you for. So, Bob, I guess I'll hand it over to you, and you may want to make this screen bigger so we don't see the presentation mode. Can you deal with that?
No, I don't know what I'm doing. When you retire, you forget how to use Zoom. Let's see. Hi, presenter mode. Did that work?
A little better. Can you go to slideshow now?
Recording in progress.
Zoom slideshow. All right.
At the top where it says slideshow when beginning. A lot of feedback.
How's that?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, I switched my monitors. Okay. All right, so thanks. So in the background, you're going to either hear thunderstorms and see lightning through my windows, or you're going to hear my dog bark, or a combination of all the above. So,
Bob, hey, it's just I forgot to mention that we are having thunderstorms here too. So if we get cut off, you know, we'll do it tomorrow.
I got that.
This is geared toward all national tournaments. This has nothing necessarily to do with the Loudoun County one that a lot of you are going to, but it applies to it. But you know, Bob's doing this has nothing to do with us making a presentation about the Loudoun County specific tournament. We're just talking about national tournaments in general. All right.
Okay. All right. So thanks for your time. It's fun. I enjoyed doing this. And if I can advance the slides, because it's not showing me how to do that.
Sometimes the space bar or the enter bar.
Space bar, enter bar, wheel on the mouse.
Yeah, none of that's working.
Oh,
That's here. Hold on, we're gonna make it. Let's see. Hold on a second. We're gonna do here. Screen 2.
That's better.
Did that? Oh, there you go. Okay. All right. So we'll get into this. So prior to your national tournament, which I think most of them are starting next week, make sure you go over your uniform requirements. According to USA Softball, there are only 3 shirts to be worn at a national tournament. And some of you are now scratching your heads and no, there's 4. No, okay, there's 3, and they're powder blue, navy blue, and white. If you have pink, leave pink at home. And I have an echo for some reason. Okay, so if you have pink, leave it home. When USA Softball came out with these uniforms, they brought pink in to honor breast cancer awareness tournaments and events, and they weren't designed to be worn at a national tournament. So white, navy blue, powder blue, and I believe that the default for most nationals will be the powder blue. Pants, as most of you know, USA Softball is transitioning from heather gray to charcoal gray. The default for most USA national tournaments this year is still heather gray. Charcoal gray is acceptable, provided everybody on the field matches. Okay, so if one person doesn't have charcoal, even though you just spent, $75 for them, you have to default to heather gray. And let me go back for a second. National tournaments, this is going to come across as very strict and paramilitary almost. But a national tournament is very unlike all the tournaments you've been working all year, right? You have a variety of umpires. You have those with 30 years of experience and those with 1 year experience and everything in between. So it's really important that you all understand that and come together as a cohesive team, and the more experienced people help the lesser experienced people. Okay. And so the uniforms, that's where we're going to start with that, wearing the right uniforms on the field. Rule knowledge, brush up on your rules now. I would say 99% of us all do high school ball, and there are major differences between National Federation and USA Softball. There's a percentage of us that do NCAA ball, and there's major rule differences or mechanics differences between the NCAA and USA Softball. So, get into the mechanics, understand what they are, and work them the way USA Softball wants us to work them. And if you do that, it doesn't matter if you're from Virginia or New York or Alaska or California. If you're all operating off the same mechanics manual, everybody will understand what you're doing, right? It's fairly simple that way. With the rules, big difference: attempted bunts, hit by pitch, conferences, obstruction, interference. Those are rules that you're going to see and that come up all the time, and they're the ones that you're going to have to know like the back of your hand. So,
Bob,
yeah,
I don't want to interrupt, but we have a special guest that may or may not be able to stay too long. Kevin Ryan is here. He is the head umpire for USA Softball. And one thing I wanted to make clear is you're part of a bigger organization here. He's the top umpire, and then he's got deputies and regional UICs and then state UICs. Since we have so many new umpires we have a lot of new umpires doing their first tournament and several umpires doing their second tournament. So I thought it'd be kind of neat if Kevin could give you a little pep talk and congratulations for this endeavor.
Thanks, Joe. I didn't mean to interrupt Bob for.
It's all right. I mean,
I just wanted to let you know I was having a little trouble getting on. I got on, but I couldn't get my camera and my microphone to work. Bob, good to see you, bud. How you doing?
Good, Kevin. Good to see you.
Good. Like Joe said, my biggest reason for getting on is to congratulate everybody for being able to go to the national championship. But even more than that, to thank you for going to a national championship. If you have not been to a national championship, it's a big old deal. It's a great opportunity for you to meet umpires from around the country. I was lucky enough in my career to do world championship, so I was able to umpire with some international folks. I still send and I still get Christmas cards. Yes, for you younger people, I put them in an envelope, I put stamps on them, and I put them in my mailbox, and I put the little red flag up for the mailman to come back and get them. So, and I still get them from them. And it's a very unique family in the world when you're able to do just not only national championships. I mean, as long as somebody sends me one back, they get a Christmas card from me every year. My Christmas card list is 2.5 Excel pages in size. So I spend probably $100 on stamps. Yes, okay, for you younger folks, it's a little bitty thing. I don't lick them anymore. At least I get the ones that self-stick. I don't have to do that. But you're also talking to somebody that goes to the bank and puts a check in the bank. So I don't Venmo, I don't tweet, I don't Twitter, I don't get on Facebook. I don't have time to tell you I'm going to Walmart to get a pencil. I got bigger and better things to do than all that, but my wife keeps me in touch with all that stuff. Um, I can honestly say, in all the national championships I went to, and I was lucky to do a few, I learned something every single year. Even if it was my seventh national championship, I learned something from another umpire from another part of the country every single year. If you watch and listen and talk, the experience of understanding what really goes on and being in the umpire family is outstanding. So don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to ask questions. And there's going to be times you may not be able to do a lot of that. But when you're not umpiring, go watch the other umpires.
Thank you.
Be able to lay back, watch them, see what's going on. Talk to them about their games. If you saw something, you might go, man, how did you get in that position? Don't hesitate to do that, especially if you're a younger umpire or newer umpire going for the first time. It's an outstanding situation. When I went to my first national championship, I guarantee you I was scared. I was absolutely petrified. Man, and the guys that had been there and done that made me feel so at home by just sitting and talking and listening. I will say back in my day, I'm a little sheepish admitting rules knowledge was like, nah, I got people on the field that can help me with that. But Bob is dead nuts right. Rule knowledge will keep you out of so much trouble. And be careful. I'm going to say something that'll probably get me in trouble, but if you just call obstruction like obstruction is supposed to be called and not like some people call it in the NC2A, I didn't say that. You keep yourself out of trouble in the world of obstruction. But I understand that's changing. The enforcement of that's changing a little bit, so that's a good thing. Mechanics, yes. We like everybody to use our mechanics. If you do NFHS ball and you follow NFHS rules, you do USA mechanics already because their mechanics are identical to ours. Supposed to be. I know some areas do like some of our areas, they kind of go in a little different direction, but obviously college is a little different, and hey, it's their game. They need to be able to put the mechanics in they think works best for them. If you got those things down, if you got mechanics and pretty good rule knowledge, you'll sail. You'll sail through a national championship. You'll have a good time. Everybody will enjoy the experience. Hopefully you get lots of games. I do know if you're going to Loudoun County, you're going to get a bunch of games, or at least a bunch of teams. That's going to be one heck of a tournament. I was not lucky enough to go to something that big back in my day, but just enjoy it. Have fun. Ask questions. The people that are going to be overseeing you, your UICs, assistant UICs, they've been there, done that. They don't know all the answers. If you think you can call me and ask me a real question and I can spout you off a rule, you don't know what I keep on my desk to make sure I am telling you the right situation. But expect the unexpected, but most of all, have a good time, enjoy yourself. It's an experience like no other if you treat it right. And before I shut up, I just wanted to say one other thing because I know where you folks are from, a lot of you. I just wanted to get this a little bit closer to camera so y'all can see what it says. Stanley Cup champions, 2025. My son lives down there, so I've become a big time Panthers fan, and I tease Joe about it because his wife is a huge hockey nut like I am. I'm a Red Wing. I'm a Michigan guy, but since my son now lives in Florida and he took me to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years ago, I am somewhat of a hockey nut, and he sent me a couple hats. So I had it on last night, Joe, or 2 nights ago when you got on with Region 1, but you ducked out before I got back in here with it on. So you couldn't tell your wife about it. If you got any questions of me, folks, one other thing I almost forgot. I'm glad Bob mentioned the pants situation. Yes, we're still heather gray. The charcoal gray are allowed at our national championships next year. At national championships, charcoal gray will be required. So put that in your thought process in your NC2A came to us and asked if our pant manufacturer could make charcoal gray pants. So we went to work with our pant manufacturer, and after 5 or 6 times, they were able to match it up. And we get a lot of NC2A people buying them from us because apparently they wear better. You folks that do NC2A ball in those pants, I think you understand what that means. I don't. In totality, my understanding is they don't come out. They don't, when you hang them up, they don't get a lot of the wrinkles out or whatever. Ours do. So that's the reason. Well, lo and behold, Fleckheimer, who's our pants, they came back and said, okay, which one are you going to go with? Which we did not expect. They don't want to have to make both pants. And so we made the decision, because a lot of our folks do NC2A ball, that we're going to try to move in that direction. So apologize that you got to buy some new pants, but I think in the overall scheme of things, it'll look better. So any questions for me from anybody?
Kevin, I'll piggyback on that for a second. Just today, National Federation did a press release, and they are also moving to charcoal gray starting next year.
Yeah, I sit on their rule panel as a guest. Was unable to attend in person this year, so I participated in by Zoom. Their rule process is kind of crazy. They go through all their process, and their committee puts together, and they vote on the rules that they want approved, and then it has to go to their board of directors in order to be approved. And we're not supposed to talk about it until the board of directors. Now, I believe they probably have it. I just haven't seen anything from Sandy Searcy yet. I did notice that SFIA says that NC2A is going to double base next year. So that's going to be interesting, I think. And they did approve that for NFHS baseball, the double base. And I think that's a great thing. If we can get our rules closer together, it's a lot. Our pitching rules are almost identical now, with a little bit of idiosyncrasies. But in high school and USA softball, college, a little bit different, but pretty close. So,
Questions for Kevin?
well, great for y'all to give up a time like this to do this. Please enjoy yourself. If any of you served in our military or are serving in our military, thank you very much. I have my Air Force shirt on, which was my daddy's branch of the military, so I'm a big supporter. So y'all have a good time, have great discussions. I'm gonna get out of here because I do have a couple of things I need to get done for the night subway.
Thanks for coming by. And remember,
Yeah, guys.
Thanks,
y'all.
Kevin.
Thanks,
Yep.
Kevin.
Good luck and have fun.
Okay, he took half my slides away from me, so that's good. No, I'll do a different way of presenting it. So anyway, we were talking about rule knowledge. Kevin harped on, pounded on that. Mechanics, 2-umpire system. You're all probably experts in 2-umpire system. You probably know it like the back of your hand, but make sure you know it the USA softball way. 3-umpire system. There's going to be in Loudoun County, there's going to be very few games that are 3-umpire system. I think it's last 4 games of each age group will be 3-umpire. You're going other places, they will have different requirements. A lot of that's driven by USA softball code, and when they go to 3-umpire and when they go to, if they stay 2. If you don't know 3-umpire system, don't freak out. Don't panic. Don't try and go and learn it overnight. Just talk to your UICs and say, look, I really don't know 3-umpire, and then just work the rest of the tournament to the best way you can, and then watch some 3-man and get that experience watching it. Work as many games as possible. It's too late. That's why it's in gray. It's too late for you to do that now. You're less than a week away from going. type of contract, you've already done that, been there, done that. Travel arrangements, you're not going to worry about that. That's over in the past as well. Communication with your umpire coordinator and your UIC, really important. That umpire coordinator, for those that are new to this, your umpire coordinator is really your liaison to the tournament. If you need anything, your point of contact is your umpire coordinator. You're going to have a couple in Loudoun County. If your hotel isn't right, if you're delayed, you had a flat tire, you're stuck in traffic, whatever the case may be, go to your umpire coordinator. The UICs are busy doing schedules, they're dealing with teams, check-in, and the UICs are dealing with 1,000 things. So deal with your umpire coordinator. That's what they're there for. They are there solely to support the umpires. Be on time to the umpire clinic. There's just no other way I can. That's just the way to start off on a good foot. If you have dress requirements for the umpire clinic, some of you are going to go to the umpire clinic in uniform because you're going to do a photo right after. Great. If your requirements are casual clothes, and if it says no shorts, that means no shorts. Joe and any other UIC here, those that have been in other tournaments can tell you there's always somebody that decides to push the envelope on that. That's not the way you want to stand out to the staff. So follow the rules in your welcome letter, and it'll be good. It'll be a good thing for you. Okay. I thought I took all these transitions out last year, but anyway, tournament responsibilities. Okay, professionalism that should go unsaid, but it's here for a reason because people do different things. Attentive and respectful, confident, not arrogant. Right? There's a difference there, and we all know what the difference between confidence and arrogance is. I'm going to go back to this is not a weekend tournament. This is larger than that. This is the largest stage outside of the Gold or the JO Cup that you're going to be on as a USA softball umpire, right? As Kevin mentioned, how large this is. In case you didn't know, there's 172 or so teams in this. You're using 30 some fields, and there's over 110 umpires in this tournament in Loudoun County. And as Joe said, I have 34 years experience in 12 nationals. I have never seen a national tournament with requirements like this. This is huge. So it's going to be stressful at times. You're going to deal with weather. You're going to deal with rain, long days. You're going to deal with heat. Now, I looked at the long-term forecast for Loudoun County, and right now it's mid 80s, and the heat index is still below 90 for right now. So that's going to work in your favor a little bit. But this time of year, pop-up rain happens, and you have to be flexible and just roll with it. When you're at home doing tournaments, you may be able to inject something with the tournament director and say, hey, why don't we go do this? Or why don't we leave all that at home? Let the national staff, the tournament director, the player reps, let all them figure all that out. And you just go there and you worry about umpiring and do your thing. Okay. Pre-game, post-game meetings. Again, you're all over the country. So do a really good pregame with your partner. That is so important. So you understand, you don't plan deviations, right? So I'll give you an example. A very common mechanic that we do now is a ground ball to right field, and U1 will stay outside the line and call, the bag if the right fielder throws back to first, and the plate umpire will shoot through the circle to get to play at second base if it happens. That is not a USA mechanic. So you don't want to be, you don't go into a game planning to do that. That's not to say the plate umpire doesn't read what's happening with U1 and they get, there's a traffic jam over there at first base. You may have to shoot through the circle, but it's not what you plan to do, but then you communicate that as well. Okay. And then during your post game meeting, rest assured, if you do that, the UIC is going to come over and say, "Why did you do that?" And just have a good answer. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later. Build this up. Okay. On-field responsibilities. Early in my career, I used to think calling balls and strikes was where we made our money. And, as long as you're consistent, with balls and strikes, you're good. And then it was consistently accurate. And that's all true. But as I got wiser in my days, I found that where we really make our money as an official, as an umpire, is under game management. Being able to control the game, the flow of the game. You know, you can really game management can make a difference in whether you get 5 innings in or 7 innings in. When you're, as an example, lineup card changes. Anticipate the lineup card change. Anticipate that coach popping out of the dugout and saying, "Blue, I want a courtesy runner for my pitcher." If you know the pitcher's batting and you see her get on base with the catcher, kind of glance at the dugout. Is he popping out? Is he going to get the courtesy runner? And if he's popping out, start reaching for your lineup card holder so that you're quick and make that change quickly and promptly. Pass it to the other side. Pass it to the scorekeeper so you have it. That have enough game balls in your bag. If you're wearing 2 ball bags, have balls in both ball bags. That's what it's there for. So many umpires like to have a second ball bag and there's no balls in it. And then all of a sudden the game is delayed because the 2 balls he has or she has were hit out of play and they're foul. Well, why do you have 2 ball bags if you're not going to put balls in them? Well, one's my secretary. I keep my lineup card and my pen and my flipping coin in it. Put balls in it. That's what they're there for. Keep the game moving. Get a good flow of it. And that's where you're going to make your money, right? Mechanics is on here. USA Mechanics. No rimming. A lot of us, when it gets hot, tournaments on weekends, we kind of take the easy way out. We rim a little bit. We cheat because it's 98 degrees. 3 umpires have already gone down. I'm pacing myself. I'm doing 6 games. This is a national tournament. This is 100% effort, 110% effort. Every game you're going to work. You're probably not working 2 games in a row like you're used to. You're not working 6 and 7 games in a day like you're used to. You're going to work 3, 4, maybe 5, doubt it, but you're only going to work 3 or 4 games a day. There's really no reason not to give 110% on every single game you go out there. Focus. For those going to Virginia, this is really key. Over the years, and it's really a testament to the work that Joe puts in at the local Alexandria Fairfax County area, plus throughout the state, is we be approachable. Teams that are in the DC area, Virginia, Maryland, DC, North Carolina even, when they come into Virginia, they have an expectation that they can be heard by the umpire. And the umpire is going to stand there and listen to what they're got to say and not be blown off. So welcome that conversation. And the more experienced umpires know where the line is. Your lesser experienced umpires, you're going to learn where the line is about, questioning everything and stuff like that. But the key is to be approachable. Let them come ask you a question. We know that they don't know the rules. And you're not out there to give them a coaching clinic or a rules clinic, but you may have to set them straight on what exactly the rule is and how you interpreted it and applied the rule. But be approachable. That's what they're used to. We in Virginia work really hard to keep coaches in the game. It's not fun to dump a coach. Yeah, when the day's over, we all sit around the restaurant or in the bar and we talk about what we just did and this guy we dumped him. But that's not fun. Let's try and keep the coaches in the game. It's sometimes it's unavoidable, and they got to go. They plan themselves to get thrown out, and we oblige them. But you really want to try and keep them in the game. Hustle, we just talked about that, 110% all the time. Pre-pitch planning. This has been in the USA vernacular for about 7 to 10 years now. go through your head. Where am I? If I'm out of the shortstop position, if the ball's hit here, what am I doing? If the ball's hit here, where am I? What am I doing? What if the throw goes wherever? What am I doing? What's my partner supposed to be doing? Run all that stuff through your head. We're not out there just to look good. It, we're out there working, right? And so that goes to the focus. What are we doing? Where are we going when something happens? Mechanics. In transparency, I live in Pennsylvania now, so I work up in with a lot of throughout Pennsylvania. And what I'm seeing a lot of umpires do now, they tap with 2 outs, with even runner on first. I don't know why they do it. They tap their wrist with 2 fingers, like, oh, this is a timing play, timing play. Okay, that's not a USA mechanic, folks. In the late 80s and early 90s, that was a mechanic, and then they took it out of the book. So if you're using that, you probably don't want to do it for this weekend tournament, this week-long tournament you're doing. You don't know where the UICs are going to be. In some cases, they're going to be standing behind the fence. They'll be standing along the foul lines. Some places they're going to be standing on a hill, and you're never going to see them. And you're going to do something on the game, and they're going to ask you about it afterwards, like, where the hell were you when where were you when I did that? So if you do everything the right way, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're unsure of some mechanics that you use at home are proper or not, get into the USA Umpire Mechanics Manual and check and see. And if you're still not sure, talk to Joe or one of your UICs and get them to clarify it for you. Again, 3-man. If you don't know 3-man, don't be afraid of it, but don't sit there and go, if you've only worked 1 or 2 3-man, oh yeah, I'm an expert in 3-man. Put me on it. You'll be exposed. You will be exposed, and you'll be exposed at the biggest time of the tournament, and you may get by. Chances are you're not. And so be honest with what your limitations are in 3-man. The girls deserve better. Your partners deserve better. You'll have your chance for 3-man in the future, but don't try and fake it. Okay. Okay. Leadership and game management. This is where we make our money. Like I said, positive presence. Be confident. Right. When you're doing your pregame with the coaches, quick. Go over what you need to go over. It's not a rules clinic. Just get in there and take care of business. Coach comes out to you. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to what they're asking you. If they're just spewing stuff, ask them, Coach. If they want you to go for help, Coach, what do you think I missed? What is it you'd like me to check with my partner for? And a lot of times when you ask them that, they're going to sit there and go, huh? Because they just want to make a presence, right? And so when you ask them, what did you think I missed? That's going to give them a chance to think and go, oh, I don't know. So, and then you'll have that conversation. But don't entertain a conversation where the coach is in the dugout and you're standing by the plate or you're standing by first base. Have them come talk to you. Not everybody in the ballpark needs to hear your conversation with the coach. Know when to assist your partner. As I mentioned earlier, we have umpires with 1 year and umpires with 30 years and everything in between. Lesser experienced umpires on the plate, coaches on them, base umpire, be attentive to what's going on there and help your partner, through those situations, and go that way. Help your partner in between innings if it's necessary. Hey, you forgot to cover this, or reminder to make sure you do this on a certain play and go from there. Lineup cards, we talked about that. Write everything down and inform all parties. Right, your lineup card tells a story, and if it rains, you're going to need that lineup card to figure out what that chapter of the story you were on in. And when you make a change, make sure the other team and the scorekeeper, if you have a designated scorekeeper, make sure they all get that change and do it quickly. A lineup card change shouldn't take 90 seconds. Just get it out. When you're using your pen, if use a different color than the coaches use. red, use green. So you know what your marks were as opposed to what the coach's marks were. Okay. Um, as I was talking before, this is really large. With 8 UICs, I almost wish I could be there. That's just kind of crazy. Um, you have all age groups here, 10 U's all the way up to 18. Obviously, you have lots of various levels of play, just as you have various levels of umpiring here. You may be a really, really good umpire, and you may be doing NCAA, and you may have just done a state championship high school game. In this tournament, you may be called on to do a 12U or even a 10U game. And that's not a knock on your abilities. Those 10s and 12s, they deserve good umpires as well. And so take it with the intent that is they just need good umpires on those games. And just go and embrace that opportunity, because in some cases it could be a break for you because you've been dealing with 18s in the heat, and and attitudes get a little bit testy sometimes. Now you get to go to 12s, and it may be a little bit calmer, and you may have a little bit more fun in the 10. So you're not, no age group is too big for you. Okay. Proper angle and distance for calls, right? We get in the book, know what they are. The USCs will be watching for that. And if you're not in the proper angle and distance, if you ever sit and watch a game, angle and distances really do make a difference. And watching a game, you can see that. I was at a game just a week ago, and I was sitting off the first base side, and a parent sitting 3 rows above me thought there was a foul ball down the line. I thought it was a foul ball down the line, but the plane umpire came up and with a big, sharp, fair ball signal, and it was all our angle. He had it straight down the line, and we're at a different angle. So he had the right call, and we didn't. Pre and post game, pre-game, we talked about that. Go do it with your partner and be very thorough. Make sure you cover everything. Tags up on a bunt up the first base line. Who has the first 30 feet? Who has the second 30 feet? All that kind of stuff. A big one is, base umpires out by shortstop, and the first play is the first, and then there's a follow-on play to third. Who's got that play at third? If that play is reversed, first plays at third, who has that? And if she then throws back to first, who has that? Cover all that stuff. There's no element of what we do too small when you head into a national tournament. It's the one thing you don't talk about that's going to bite you. It will always do that. Make sure you have everything. Your mask, your indicator, game balls. We talked about the 2 ball bags, timers, water towels. Make sure you have it all. Check it now. Make sure everything's in your bag. Post game with your partner and staff. Once upon a time, the national staff would come to you and really tell you what you did wrong. And over time, that changed. And now they come to you and they say, how did you do? How do you think you did? Okay? And so it's a time not to peacock around and fluff your feathers going, oh, we did great. We didn't miss a thing. That may be true, but there's always going to be something that you didn't do right, or you could have done a little bit better. And so be critical of yourself. Be critical of your crew. That's the only way you're going to make yourself better. Chances are the UIC saw it anyway. And so you might as well tell on yourself, because he or she's already knows it. And if they come to you and say, why did you do this, right? Or why did you do that instead of what the book says? Most of the time, if you can justify why you did it a certain way, they'll buy it. They'll say, okay, I couldn't get to where I needed to be because of whatever. So I did this. We have primary calling positions, we have secondary calling positions. And I went to my secondary because of whatever. and they'll go, okay, you were on the field, that you made a good decision, and go from there. Um, if the UIC tells you, well, I want you to do it this way, you may say, well, that's not right. This is a good example of when in Rome, do as the Romans do. It may be wrong, but if that's what the UIC wants you to do this week, then you do it that way and not become argumentative. Okay. I experienced that at an 18 gold in Oklahoma City where, and Kevin Ryan actually was telling somebody, do this way, and the umpire got argumentative with Kevin. I was like, wow, that wasn't real smart, but whatever. All right, that's okay. Off-field responsibilities. Yes, we have an unofficial dress code. Minimize your identity as an umpire. Right. So you have a full game off. It could be an hour and 45 minutes. You can wear USA softball attire, and people are going to understand you're an umpire. When I'm at a tournament, I typically don't talk to people, and I mean, I'm friendly, but I just don't talk about the game. I don't talk about what game I have next. I don't tell them where I'm going, fans and things like that. So if you're sitting in the stands, be incognito and make it easy. A lot of times, if there's a controversy on the field and all hell's breaking loose, I'm probably getting up out of the bleachers and walking away, so not to have 10 parents now turn to me and say, what's going on here? What are they doing? I'm walking away because I don't want to be sucked into that and I don't want to be part of it. Arrive early, at least 60 minutes before game time. Treat this tournament as if you're not in your own backyard. If you're a local umpire, treat this tournament as if you're away, right? You should have nothing else on your schedule during this tournament except the tournament. So, but in the event you have to leave the site midday, let your UIC know where you are and what time you're going to be back. I can tell you so many examples of an umpire leaving. They wanted to go back to the hotel to take a shower. It was 95 degrees, right? Or whatever the case may be. And then all of a sudden there's a forfeit. And now the game that they're supposed to work just got moved up by 45 minutes, 50 minutes, or it's a fat run roll game and your game got moved up. Well, you're not there. And if you're not there, you're going to get replaced. And that will not be good for you. Okay. So try and stay at the game site and involve yourself, learn the game, right? Pay attention to what's going on and watch your colleagues, sit in the umpire room under the tent, whatever, and just tell war stories and have a good time. Respect the game and those who participate. And I didn't really understand what that meant until a couple years ago, and it's really big for me now in Pennsylvania. I work with a guy. He's a rules interpreter, and he's new into the college game. And high school means nothing to him. Oh, I can't do the plate on this high school game because I'm going to be on national TV this weekend. That means you don't respect the high school game. At the level that we're doing this USA softball, this is the foundation of youth and girls softball. And they don't get to be college athletes until they master what they're doing on the field at this tournament. You don't get to go be an NCAA umpire unless you master what we want you to do at these national tournaments. So it's respecting the game. Sometimes it's hard. A 23-0 ball game, it's hard to stay involved in that, but you got to do it. Don't rule on plays while watching games. We'll talk about that. Walk away. Control relationships off the field. There's going to be teams there that there could be coaches there that you live next door to. But during this tournament, they're coach, and don't get wrapped up in it. If you're out at a restaurant or a bar after the game's over and there's coaches there, minimize your involvement. You're sitting around the hotel in the lobby with there's 8 or 10 umpires in the lobby and you're all drinking and laughing and joking. Coaches come over, separate yourselves from that and don't. I was at a national tournament one year and we're sitting in the hallway of the 5th floor and coaches and players came looking for us. And we ended up having to call the tournament director to chase them away off of our floor. It was crazy. It happens. It's crazy. It happens. Stay hydrated and respect the umpire room area. I talked about that. The weather forecast looks really good for you if you're going to Loudoun County. Won't say it won't change, but 85 degrees, 90-degree heat index, it's still hot. Wearing long pants, wearing those shirts with gear, it's still gonna be hot. So hydrate starting this weekend, and you'll be good to go. Respect the umpire room and area. Nobody's there to clean up after you. I can't count the number of times that we go to umpire areas where we get dressed and there's 1,000 empty water bottles, Gatorade bottles, banana peels, all sitting around on a table, on the ground. Oh, I'm going to get it at the end of the day. No, put it in the trash can now. Don't wait. Don't have people clean up after you. You're not at home, okay? Just because you're away from home doesn't mean you can be a slob. I'm just going to keep it real. You can't be a slob, okay? Clean up after yourself. Attend all required events. Pre-tournament clinic, the umpire banquet. Now in Loudoun County, it's easy because your banquet is I think Thursday night, so you're early in the tournament. But I can tell you examples of local umpires who, I'm not back in when the banquet used to be late in the tournament, like the night before the finals. And the umpire was like, oh, I'm not going to work on Sunday anyway, so I'm not going to go to the banquet. No, the banquet is mandatory. Mandatory. And if you don't go, it will be noted on your evaluation. All right, post-tournament responsibilities. Obviously, there's 3 teams out there, right? There's going to be a home team, a visiting team, and the blue team. So support each other. There's going to be 113 of you in Loudoun County. Support each other. The reality of it is, folks, come championship games, winners bracket final, losers bracket final, championship if game, there ain't but 3 slots on each game. There's 110 umpires, 113 umpires. Not everybody's going to work the final day. Okay, you can have a great tournament, and you may not get final day. You can't have sour grapes. You can't be bitter about that. Support the people that get them. Maybe they just did the right thing at the right time and the UIC saw it. And when you did the right thing or you handled a situation, maybe the UIC wasn't there to see how you handled it. It's not personal. They just have to sit there and make a decision. And, when it's all said and done, be happy for the people who get selected and sit back and watch it and have a good time watching it. We all think we deserve those final games, but there ain't but 3 slots, right? So it is what it is. And when I was younger, I always wanted the championship game. Who doesn't? Everybody wants a championship game, right? Everybody wants it. But the reality of it is the most important game of the tournament is the losers bracket final. So if you get selected for the losers bracket final, think about that. That is the most important game. The winner goes to play for the gold and the loser goes home in 3rd place. So that's where you really got to be on top of your game. So and there's gonna be some of you that will read this, go, yep, I understand that. And come that final day, you'll be pissed off as hell. And it'll ruin your experience. So get it in your mind now. If you're selected, it's great. If you're not, I'll just work harder at my next one. Thank the coordinator and tournament staff for the hard work during the championship. The coordinator is not paid. The umpire and chiefs do get a stipend, but the umpire coordinator has put in countless hours so far to date, and they're going to put in hundreds of more hours between now and when the last person leaves that tournament location. And tournament's over Sunday, the last person may not leave till Monday. That coordinator's not done till that last person is out of town. Okay, they're not paid. I mean, I don't know if I said that they're not paid enough, but so it's not uncommon for the umpire staff to take a collection and buy gift or give gift cards or something to at least the coordinator. And if there's leftover, you can do the tournament staff as well. But take care of your umpire coordinator. That person or people, there's a couple of them, they are part of you. They're there for you. Okay. There was a picture in that collage when we saw it before we started. They were holding banners, and they were tournament banners, and the whole umpire staff